Desertification is a type of land degradation in which relatively dry area of land becomes increasingly arid, typically affecting water, vegetation, and wildlife. It is caused by a variety of factors such as climate change and human activities. Areas most vulnerable to desertification are sub-Saharan and Southwest Asian drylands, which is where UAE is located.
In the dry season, insufficient rainfall results in water scarcity, low crop production, and a severe reduction in the tree coverage. This in turn causes a loss in plants and animal species. A low biodiversity means crops are more susceptible to pest attacks.
Desertification reduces soil fertility, water retention capacity, and crop yield, which leads to long-term decline in agricultural yields, livestock yields, and plant biodiversity in UAE. Plants will dry infertile due to the increased amount of desertification.
Desertification causes less adapted plants to die, resulting in a reduced biodiversity. This causes animals to die, since their usual food was replaced by other food sources which they cannot digest.
The crops a farmer yields gets corrupted due to desertification. In spite of adversity he faces, he still manages to bring us eggplants on a daily basis with a smile.
না 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 পানির কোনো সমস্যা নাই পানি অতিরিক্ত বেশি হলে তো সমস্যা হবে অথবা পানি কম হলেও সমস্যা একদিনে সামনে ধরুন এই দিক থেকে এক পা করে 250 গ্রাম করে পানি পড়লে তো কোনো সমস্যা নেই
How does the climate in the UAE trigger desertification?
Okay, well, for a start, we don't have very much rain, so the soil is always dry most of the time. The other thing is because we don't have very much rain, the reservoirs of water that we have underground, the groundwater, is very low in the UAE, which isn't helping plants take root, which goes back to the old question. That's why the small plants are important, because they can survive in very low water situations.
What are the causes and effects of desertification?
Okay, so the main causes of desertification are farmlands, because they ruin the soil. But in the UAE, we don't have very many farms, or at least I don't know how many we have. But I know that when people go to the desert, they ruin the small plants that are in the desert with their tires. So this ruins succession. Do you know what succession is?
I don't know.
Okay, let me explain it to you very quickly. So we assume that this is the progression of land over time. So, we start, let's say, pretty much with desert land. We have these tiny, tiny plants, which are equivalent to the shrubs that we have in the desert, and these are called the pioneer species. So their roots start to grip the soil and make the soil more habitable for other plants and then other animals over time. So these little plants that we have in the desert are the pioneer species, and they're the ones who are going to set off the succession, which will ultimately lead to forest, pine forest. So the reason why this is important, obviously, is if we want to decrease the levels of desert land in the UAE, we need to have more plants to get to the later stages of succession.
What do you think desertification is?
So I guess desertification is where you've got an area of land where there's a lot of drought, and it's the impact it has on the environment, because there's obviously not much growth and not much vegetation can grow because of the climate, and therefore you end up with a desert, very much like we're in now.
Do you think you can prevent desertification?
Well, there's man-made facilities you can do that can assist to prevent it. So where we're standing now, we've got a number of trees and things that have got irrigation that's feeding. So that's supplementing the fact that you don't get much rain in the area. It's quite a droughty area, so irrigation does it. There's other aspects. I mean, if you take in Oman at the minute, they're actually doing a project that's a botanical garden, and they're creating what they call biomes, so they can actually recreate what is rainforest within these biomes in the desert. So there's a lot of man-made options that you can do to prevent it.
Causes of desertification magnified due to man's involvement. Animals that reside in the desert are directly affected because of the increase in desertification pressures.
The chemicals in the smoke of the fire affects the climate change by reducing the carbon reserves and increases CO2 emission, which can cause soil erosions. This reduces production and nutrition cycle, causing desertification in UAE.
The coal is the aftermath of the bonfire that the people had, which ruins the sand in the desert of UAE. If humans do not lessen their harming activities in the UAE, desertification in drylands will threaten humans, plants, and animals in the future.
Population growth and increased food demand are expected to drive the expansion of land cultivation in drylands.
Fighting desertification in the UAE means preserving the soil and feeding the country.